Well, it's time to bake. Hopefully it's time to bake. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I'm getting everything I need out. Almond flour, baking powder, psyllium husk, oat fiber, keto approved, olive oil. It's very expensive olive oil that I use, but eggs. Only need 5 of them, but I took out a couple of extra for breakfast. Salt, ground flaxseed meal, and my measuring devices, and my bowls. And of course, it wouldn't be baking with RB Rebel Girl without my coffee. Let's do it. Hey folks, it's Carolyn and I'm back again, and now I'm baking today. Now once you've made your sourdough starter, okay, if you have put it in the refrigerator until you're ready to bake, okay, well, that's what you would do. You'd put it in the refrigerator until you're ready to bake. But then when the day you're ready to bake, you take out your both your jars and you bring them to room temperature. And what you want to do is you want to feed them again. So I fed them again, and look at, oh, it's bubbling up. I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to put it to the side, and I'm going to start mixing my ingredients to bake bread. Now I have covered them and set them off to the side. And as Mel says in her videos, the whole reason for making 2 jars at one time is to make sure that you have enough starter for your recipe. Now, I don't know. I know when my son's dad makes regular sourdough. Yeah, he makes really great sourdough. He likes to cook. So here we go. While that is sitting, cover it and put it off to the side while you're mixing your ingredients. So now we're going to mix our dry ingredients in one bowl and our wet ingredients in another. And again, we want to have our eggs at room temperature. I remember even when I would watch Martha Stewart, every time she cooked something with eggs, most times she would have it basically, have the eggs out at room temperature. The other item that I'm going to mention is baking soda. I don't have baking soda, but I looked for all the substitutes online. I looked for all the baking soda substitutes online, and they say, okay, you can use baking powder as a substitute. Well, baking powder is already in my recipe. So what do you substitute baking soda with? And you can't use the same baking soda you put in your refrigerator. It's a totally different grade of baking soda. So then they recommend that it's recommended online to use either vinegar or lemon juice. Well, I'm already using vinegar in my recipe because it's an acid that will activate the rise and the yeast and the flakiness. So I'm like, okay, so do I just leave it out? Well, research I did said that you can leave it out, but I could also use lemon juice. I don't know if that would change the taste of my bread. But I'm thinking I may need to use something else or leave it out altogether. But I do want my bread to be fluffy. If sourdough bread could be fluffy, so I'm going to ponder on that. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put my dry ingredients in. Okay, I've got all my ingredients out here because I wanted to look really professional like some of those other people, but I'm not professional. Okay, so I did want to mention you will need a sweetener. I use organic erythritol, or I will use monk fruit or allulose. But in this case, I'm going to use the organic erythritol erythritol because it calls for all the dry ingredients. And my monk fruit that I have right now is a liquid, and then the allulose is liquid. So I'm going to add all the dry ingredients together, and I've got them all measured out, okay? This is going to be 1 cup of almond flour, 3 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, psyllium husk, 3 tablespoons of psyllium husk. We're going to add in 1.5 cups of the oat fiber. If you notice, I'm using Anthony's organic oat fiber and psyllium husk. I am using the Aldi's oat, correction. I do have the Aldi's Baker's Corner, but I just finished my other almond flour package that I've been using all along for the starter, and that's great value. Make sure you get blanched because you don't want the browns in there, the brown covering. Anyway, so here's my oat fiber. Oof, oof, dusty. Dusty. Oh yeah. Bad. Bye-bye birdie. Bad birds. All right. Sweetener is optional, but I'm going to go ahead and add it because I'm using erythritol. So it's keto friendly. 1 tablespoon of sweetener. And then it's 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, but if you look in my little, 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon of baking powder is about 4 teaspoons, if that makes sense, because 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. So we're going to put that in there. And salt. Now I have my own, grind your own sea salt. So I'm going to put a teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of salt, which I ground up myself because I have the self-grinding one. And that's all the dry ingredients. But I'm going to go and check my recipe to make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to mix that all up together. You know, I'm using more of the oat fiber powder than I am really of almond flour. But that's how the recipe calls for. I've used Mel's recipes for a lot of other things, and I really do like her recipes. I've been really successful with them. So let's hope that this one is just as successful. Because I live in a camper and an RV and a travel trailer. My travel trailer is only 25 feet. I don't have a lot of counter space, so I have to use things as wisely as possible. Okay, now we're ready for the wet ingredients. So I have my eggs at room temperature. There's all my dry ingredients, and we're ready to go. My water is at 75 degrees room temperature. And I have my 1/4 of a cup of white vinegar. And I'm using a paper bowl. And what I'm going to do is, instead of measuring my container that I'm mixing it all in, which is going to be this particular container, measuring cup, I'm going to put a paper plate there, which is 12 grams, because we want to make sure our eggs are the proper weight. Once we put our eggs into the bowl, they should be 270 grams plus the 12, so 282 grams. If it doesn't meet 282 grams, then we'll add another egg. But these are extra large eggs, and I'm hoping that they should be okay. So it should be 5 eggs, but I wanted to be sure. So I put some extra eggs out to go to room temperature. And they've been out all morning, but they still feel cold because they were in the fridge, but they're better. Okay, with 5 eggs, my measurement here is 274. So we're going to need to add another egg because it calls for 270 grams of eggs plus the 12 grams that the bowl weighs. That's 282. So that's exactly what I'm going to try to do because we want 282. And so I took the egg and I beat it a little bit, which is what we're going to end up doing anyway. And I'm going to put it in here to see if I can get close to 284. Up a little much. So I really didn't even need that much. And I don't want to waste an egg with the price of eggs these days. So I'm going to take a little bit out. I know, isn't that crazy? I can always put this in a pan and scramble it up for Danny. Or me. Whoops. Way too much. I think we're pretty close, and I'm going to keep it at that. Let me discard this into a little cup. Because we need to use this bowl. Okay. It doesn't look as yeasty as hers, but we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to put 80 grams of the foamy stuff in there. Let's skim it off the top. So that would be 92. And now we're going to take some from Greg, the frothy part. So we should be at 92. We want to be at 92. $92, 12 grams for the bowl, and 80 grams for the starter. Okay, we're going to put our starter in our We're going to add 1 cup of water. Should be 70 degrees at least. This happens to be a little bit more, 75 I think, but that's okay. So we're going to add our 1 cup of water. We're going to add 1/4 of a cup of white vinegar. Don't forget you want your eggs at room temperature, and which we know we already have, and I weighed those already. They should be 5 eggs or 270 grams. Oops, don't spill them, Carolina. And we're going to add that in. I could just throw those away, that paper away, right? And we're going to give this a good whisking. Oh, that looks good. After we whisk, we want to have bubbles on the top. We want to have the bubbles on the top. It looks good. Now remember I said the white vinegar kind of will help with the activation of the yeast and everything because it's acidy. And I think that's what she said. But it does replace using the baking soda. Although the recipe does call for white vinegar. So that's kind of like over, I don't know. But I'm doing it the way she says. The only thing I'm missing in this recipe is baking soda. And I think that'll be fine. So we're going to add this now into our dry ingredients. So I made sure that I mixed all this in so it's the same color. This part of the recipe, all this flour and everything that goes in here is very essential. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something that's like just like a hard hockey puck, I guess. Or I suppose you could make English muffins out of it. You know, if it becomes like hard like a, you know, rock. I don't know if it would have all the nooks and crannies. So, okay, so we got a little bit in. And I'm going to mix that up. And then we'll add the rest. You want it to get a sticky consistency, which it looks like it's already getting. Oh, we'll just add the whole thing in there. Yep. You don't want to see me right now because I'm in my PJs and I got my hair tied up because when I cook, I like to have my hair out of the way. Okay, see, it's going to be it's going to be really, really sticky, but it looks like we've got it all mixed in. We've got all that dry ingredients so mixed in that you can't even see it on the bottom of the bowl. We're going to take and we're going to make this into a ball. Oh, it feels nice and moist, like it's going to be easy to. With this particular recipe, because of the almond flour, you do not have to proof it. You don't have to sit and wait for it to rise or anything like that. So how do you stop it from sticking? You know, you want to keep working it together just to get rid of all the little cracks. Well, the best way to do that is by adding the olive oil to your hands. Or any keto-friendly oil that you prefer to use. This in here. This is very good oil. And the reason I like this is, one, when I buy my olive oil that I'm going to use, and I want to get the best better olive oil, I don't get it in plastic. I get it in a glass container. Secondly, I look at the label to see if it's from one vineyard. I don't want grapes from all different vineyards. So that's always better to have your grapes that are used from one vineyard. And that's what this Calavita, I may not be pronouncing it right. Okay, so there's my bread. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spread some of the oat fiber on here. Now is I'm going to put it in my basket. So I removed the cloth. I put some more oat flour in there. And I want to get some nice lines on there. You don't have to get lines, but then later we'll take this out and we'll score it. And then I'm going to go outside and I'm going to get my oven going. So let's turn this over. And we'll put it inside. And then we'll score it after I got the oven going. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to cook in my volcano. When you're baking like bread, you're going to have more coals on the top. So right now, I am going to just light them all here. Whoa, while these coals are getting going, I'm cooking and she's in her happy place on my pillow, supervising. Dutch oven is ready. Now, the lid that I have for this Dutch oven doesn't have much space for coals, but we will get them on there even if it's along the top. We'll put coals on the top and there'll be coals underneath, and that'll fit right inside my volcano. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Wow, perfect fit. Oh, I have two of these. One is for cooking in the house and keeping the house, and the other one stays in my toolbox. So I can just do a score all the way across like an S. So let's see. We'll do that. Go here. Perfect. Let's see. We'll do one here. We'll do 3 there. And we'll do 5 up there. And the coals should be about ready. Okay, when cooking at 350, it calls for 5 charcoals on the bottom. And that's in an 8-inch Dutch oven. Mine is 5 inches. So we're gonna go ahead and keep the 5 underneath there because they're already burning pretty good. And we'll keep an eye on it. Gonna put my little handles on there because it's hot in there, and I'm gonna lower these down into the volcano. Coals are underneath the thing. This will keep some of the air out and away, and we may have to add some coals in a little while. We don't know how long those 5 coals will last. They don't seem to last but very long, but I got some warming up over there. They're already ready to go, and I'm going to put those on my lid. Okay, here we go. I'm going to leave those handles on there. I do have my pot holders, but it'll help me get a grip to get that out of there. So I've got 8 briquettes on the top, and we're going to start our timer. So I did have to replace a few coals underneath because they burnt out, and I did have to replace a few coals on the top to keep the heat at the same level. And it's been almost 50 minutes. And they say if you want it to be real brown, you should remove the cover. But again, remember, I'm not in a traditional oven. So if I remove the cover, all I have is a couple of briquettes underneath. So we'll have to take a look at it. I can smell it. It smells good. Keto bread, almond flour, sourdough, keto, and it's so healthy. I know it's a long video, sorry, but okay, we're gonna dust off the Dutch oven pan, get that dust off of there. We don't want that getting in our bread. And our bread is ready to go and sit on a rack in the house and cool down. Guys who like to cook with your Dutch oven, y'all have a hammer. Just hook the hammer on there and lift it up. Oh, wow, look at that. Wow. Put it over there. Get my mitts so I don't burn myself. So let's see if I can do this without dropping the whole loaf on the floor or burning myself. Oh, it went in. Fell right out. Oh, it smells so good. Here we go. Danny's waiting. Are you waiting for bread? Get in, go on. You smell it, don't you? You smell it? Smells good, doesn't it, girlie? We're gonna put it on a rack. Oh. It doesn't look like it rose very much. It didn't rise up a whole lot. I don't know what that's all about, but we'll have to see how it tastes. But you know what? The first time is not always the best time. If at first you don't succeed, we'll try again. Here's my bread. We're letting it cool. I hope it's done inside. It sure smells good. Okay, I just made the best salad to go with my dinner. Yeah, I did all my dishes from cooking today, from making my bread. I've got chicken cooking in here. Oh, it's hot. I have chicken cooking in here. Look at that. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Chicken breast and butter and garlic and pepper. Yum, 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 yum. And I'm going to have a piece of bread that I cooked today. Hopefully it's going to turn out great. I'm going to open that in a minute. But before I do, I just want to show you this great salad I made. Oh, this is so good. This is cucumber, avocado, and onions. But I put vinegar and oil, pepper, garlic powder, and I added sour cream. Oh, it is delicious. Now I've had it on the rack. And I moved it over here while I was doing some more work over there. And it's ready to be cut. I'm going to cut into this and then I will wrap it in saran wrap. I'm hoping it's going to taste really good. And if it's not, doesn't taste really good, then there's always tomorrow. That's an expensive mistake, right? Because the ingredients that go in here are not cheap. I will tell you that. But it's worth it if it's healthier for me. So here we go. Let me cut into it. Keep your fingers crossed. I hope it went. Oh, we'll see. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Now, it is moist. A little moist. I don't know if it's supposed to be, but it is a bit crumbly. But let me cut a piece and try it. First, I'm trying it with no butter. It's not bad. It could be more bubbly, but I'm hoping the next batch will be. Not bad at all. It's not like regular sourdough bread because it's not the same flour. I love bread and butter. Let's taste it with some real butter. It's okay. I'm thinking maybe it could have been cooked a little longer. I don't know. It smells so good. It's not bad. It's not great though, but it's not bad. If you want some bread to dip in your coffee, I like bread and butter and dip it in my coffee. I'm going to give Danny, was dying for a piece. Did you eat the whole thing?
Hold on, Mom. My mouth is full.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm. Can I have some more?
Well, you like anything I gave you. I'm curious how it would taste dunking it in coffee. I love to dunk my bread in coffee. Okay, it's next morning. I'm going to toast it. And I'm going to put a little cinnamon and sugar on top of it with my butter. I'm having tea this morning. It's good. Better this way with a little butter and cinnamon and sugar with my tea. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great day.